When a hunter-gatherer set out to find food, the feedback loop was immediate and direct. You go out, you search, you find, or you do not. You come back. The result is clear within hours or days. Your skill, your attention, your effort had a direct and visible relationship to what came back to the group. Now consider the modern financial relationship with effort and outcome. You work at a job. A portion of your pay is automatically redirected into funds you do not manage, buying pieces of companies you will never see, in markets that move for reasons that have nothing to do with your effort or your skill. The feedback loop is not hours. It is decades, and half the time a recession, a pandemic, or a policy decision thousands of miles away can undo years of disciplined effort in a single afternoon. Neuroscientist Antonio Damasio has written extensively about the role of the body in decision-making. His somatic marker hypothesis argues that human beings make their best decisions when emotional and physical feedback is fast and direct. When the connection between action and result is too long, too abstract, too disconnected from anything we can feel, our decision-making collapses. We make worse choices, we feel more anxious, we lose motivation. Ancient humans had fast feedback. Modern finance gives you the opposite. This is why budgeting feels like torture for most people. It is not that you are undisciplined, it is that your brain evolved to process effort and reward in a loop that takes hours, not decades. The abstraction of money, compound interest, and long-term investing is genuinely foreign to your nervous system. It has to be learned and relearned against the grain of everything your biology expects. Your ancestors would not have survived a single afternoon in the modern financial system, and yet we expect ourselves to navigate it effortlessly, as if the rules of money were instinctive. They are not. So what do you do with all of this? If your instincts were shaped for a world without money, does that mean your instincts are useless now? Not at all, because hidden inside those ancient patterns is something profoundly practical for the world you actually live in. The pull toward reciprocal relationships is not a bug, it is one of the most powerful financial tools available to you. Research by sociologist Mark Granovetter famously found that most major life opportunities, jobs, business deals, introductions, breakthroughs do not come through formal systems. They come through people, through networks, through the kind of loose, ongoing, trust-based relationships that look less like transactions and more like ancient gift economies. The people who build real, non-transactional relationships are still operating on the ancient model. And in a world drowning in transactional thinking, that model is increasingly rare and increasingly valuable. The discomfort around hoarding is not a bug either. Modern psychology has identified what researchers call the hedonic treadmill, the tendency for human beings to rapidly adapt to increased wealth and return to roughly the same baseline level of happiness. In other words, more money does not buy more security or more well-being past a certain threshold. Study after study confirms this. What does increase well-being is exactly what your ancestors optimized for: social connection, contribution to the group, a sense that your effort matters to the people around you. The sufficiency instinct, the ancient sense of enough, is arguably the most powerful financial concept you could internalize right now. Not because having less is noble, but because the inability to feel enough is the engine that drives the most destructive financial decisions people make. The overextended mortgage, the leveraged investment, the status purchase that quietly hollows out a savings account. None of those choices feel like greed in the moment. They feel like not enough yet. And that feeling, that chronic not enough, was never supposed to be permanent. It was a survival signal designed to push your ancestors toward their next meal. It was never meant to run on a loop forever inside a species that already has more than it needs. There is one more thing worth sitting with. Ancient humans did not separate money from meaning. Because money did not exist, the resources they gathered, the food, the tools, the shelter, were never abstract. They were always connected to something real: warmth, safety, a child who would eat tonight, a community that would survive the winter. Every resource had a face on it. Every act of gathering and sharing was embedded in a web of relationships that gave it meaning. Modern money is deliberately designed to be abstract. That abstraction makes it flexible and scalable, but it also means you can spend years accumulating it without ever feeling the warmth of what it was supposed to produce. You can retire with a full account and an empty sense of purpose.
Last episode revealed something uncomfortable. Your brain is running 300,000-year-old software in a world that changes every 6 months. The modern financial world wasn't built for your brain. It was built around it, to use it against you. In the next episode, we are going to reveal exactly how you can use this ancient human's money code to grow your wealth inside today's modern financial system. And once you understand this, you will not be able to look at money and wealth the same way again, so stay tuned for this important insight.